Okay, so today we are going to start root locus analysis. Okay, so in our previous discussion, we has considered a first order system and tried to draw the pole location with changing value of a DC gain. After that, in the second day, we have done the same procedure for a second order system. And what was our topic? We was discussing that we are going to get the relationship of open loop pole and closed loop pole, and we got that the closed loop pole is actually dependent on DC gain. And if we change the value of DC gain, we can able to change the pole position. That we discussed that is basically root locus or locus of closed loop poles. Now but it is very difficult for a larger order system. If the characteristic polynomial is quite large, it will be difficult if we approach in this way. That's why in our previous class we have also discussed there is a condition, that is Evans condition, which is actually coming from the characteristic equation, that is having two criteria. One is the magnitude criteria and the second one is the angle criteria. And we also discussed that the angle criteria, that means the angle criteria means the angle of the open loop transfer function should be equal to minus 180 degree or minus pi. So for a system to be on a root locus, it should obey the angle criteria. That means if you take the angles of a open loop transfer function, and just as it is a complex system, and if you take the argument of that complex system, and then if it is coming to minus pi, then you know that point is on the root locus. If this angle criteria is not equal to minus pi, that means that point is not on root locus. That is, we have discussed in our previous classes. Now there are certain general rules which make our task easier. Okay, how to draw a root locus, it's a very simple thing. If you understand this, it will be very easy for you. Okay, a easy topic, and you can able to do it, because just remembering few steps you can able to draw a root locus of any system. So what is the point? The first point is that we will take root locus. When we are going to get the root locus, we will take the open loop transfer function. So first point to remember, the open loop transfer function we have to take. Open loop transfer function we have to take. Okay, so what is open loop transfer function? We know that it is basically GS into HS. This is the open loop transfer function. So we have to perform the root locus on open loop transfer function GS into HS. But to draw the root locus, we need to remember certain points. The first point is this. This is the first point. What is starting and terminating points of root locus? What does it mean? For that, so that you can understand it better, I have taken two examples. First, take this example. This is a open loop transfer function. This is a open loop transfer function. We have to draw the root locus from this transfer function. Okay. So the first point, what you have to remember, from where the root locus will start and from where the root locus will terminate. This is the first point you have to remember. Now, how you will remember? you will remember that we will draw the root locus. We will draw the root locus of this open loop transfer function by varying the DC gain k. Okay, k will not be fixed for root locus. If k is fixed, you cannot get the root locus. You will get a specific point and you can comment whether that point is on the root locus or not. But if k is fixed, you cannot draw a root locus. Understood? So, to draw a root locus, the value of k must vary. So, what will be the minimum value of k and what is the maximum value of k? Theoretically, to draw a root locus, we have to vary this k from 0. So, from the minimum value will be of k will be 0 and up to infinity. So, to draw the root locus, what we have to do? We have to vary this k from 0 to infinity. Okay. So, second point to remember that to draw root locus, we have to vary the k, DC gain, which is k, from 0 to infinity. Now, from our previous discussion, we know that when k is 0, the pole of the system, the closed loop pole of the system is equal to the open loop pole. So, when k is 0, closed loop pole equal to open loop pole. Closed loop pole equal to open loop pole. Okay. So, what are the closed loop poles at that time? This is a this is a open loop transfer function. So, what are the open loop poles? The open loop pole is s equal to 0, s equal to -2 and s equal to -4 for this particular transfer function. So, when k is equal to 0, we are starting the root locus from k equal to 0. This is the starting point of root locus. So, we can say that root locus will start from open loop poles because at k equal to 0, the value of closed loop pole is equal to open loop pole. That is why we can conclude that the root locus will always start from open loop poles. So, any confusion? You understand now what I am saying? You are getting to?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, the first thing is that the root locus is starting, from open loop poles. This is the starting point of root locus. Okay. And what is the terminating point of root locus? We know we will draw the root locus by varying the value of k up to infinity. So, when the value of k is tending to infinity, it means that the root locus is terminating at either a open loop 0 or to infinity. So, what to remember? When the value of k, this is for value of k equal to 0. And when the value of k tending to infinity, root locus will terminate at where? At open loop zeros. If exist, if there is a open loop 0, it will terminate at open loop 0. If exist, if there is no open loop 0, then the root locus will terminate at infinity. Okay. So, what is the point to remember? That the root locus will terminate at open loop 0 if a open loop 0 exists. If there is no open loop 0, the root locus will terminate at infinity. So that means if I take this example, we know that there are open loop poles but no open loop 0. So for this particular example, for k tending to infinity, the root locus will terminate at infinity. Okay? But in this example, you can able to see what is the open loop pole here. Here the open loop pole is equal to 0 and equal to plus 1. What is the open loop 0? Open loop 0 is equal to minus 1. Right. So now when k equal to 0, what is the from where the root locus will start? When k equal to 0, the root locus will start from here from open loop poles, and when k equal to infinity, it will terminate at minus 1. Another one will go to infinity also, but I will coming to that point afterwards. So we are getting at least one, देखो 2 poles are there but 1 0. So from as there are 2 poles, naturally from each and every pole a root locus will start. So there means 2 root locus will start, root locus 1 and root locus 2. Okay, but as there is only one open loop pole, open loop 0, only one root locus can terminate here. So what will be the fate of the second one? Naturally, as there is no option left, it will go towards infinity. So one root locus here will go towards the open loop 0, another will be go towards towards infinity. But here, as there is no zeros, naturally here 3 poles. So each and every pole will prepare a root locus, will start a root locus. Naturally 3 root locus will terminate towards infinity. Okay? Okay. The next point is number of root locus. As I have explained discussing the first point, the number of root locus will be dependent on the number of open loop poles or open loop zeros, whichever is greater. Okay, so number of root locus will be, how many root locus will be there? The number of open loop poles or the number of open loop zeros, whichever is greater. So here open loop poles are 3, no open loop zeros. So how many root locus branch will be there? 3. Here how many poles? 2 poles and 1 0. So which is greater? Poles. How many poles? 2. So root locus branch will be 2. Understood? So in this way, we will calculate that starting and terminating points and number of root locus branches. Now, the very important point to understand, existence of root locus on real axis. Now, what does it mean? You can understand that root locus is actually on S-plane. So root locus, actually we draw root locus on S-plane. So this is my S-plane. This is my S-plane. Okay. So in S-plane, S is a complex quantity. S is having a real part and the imaginary part. So suppose this is the real part, the real axis, and this is the imaginary axis. Okay. Now, what are the, suppose I am taking this example. Where the open loop poles? The open loop poles are at 0, -2 and -4. Okay. Let's take the open loop pole positions. So, I am taking the open loop pole positions as 0, this is s equal to 0, and then is s equal to minus 2. Suppose this is s equal to minus 2, and this is suppose s equal to minus 4. Okay, so now among these three, as I have told you, the number of poles, open loop poles, from each and every open loop pole a root local branch will originate or start. So how many branch we can expect? From here one, from here one, and from here one. But where it will lie, how it will lie on this axis, on this real axis, that is the meaning of the third point. There is a what should I say? There is a understanding. Suppose I am taking here a test point. I am taking here a test point. This is my test point. Now I will consider this is my right hand side. This is my right hand side of the test point, and this is my left hand side of the test point. Okay, this is right hand side of the test point, and this is left hand side of the test point. Okay, who will tell me how many poles or zeros, whatever, how many number of poles and zeros are present on the right hand side of the test point? How many open loop poles or zeros are present on the right hand side of the test point? Who will?
I think 1.
Yes, only one, because only one, this pole at 0 is present, this one. Okay, so the notion is that we will consider the root locus exist at test point if the number of accumulated poles and zeros in the right hand side of the test point, if it is odd. So 1 is odd number, so this test point is on the root locus. That means root locus exists here. Similarly, if you take test point over here also only single number of, in the right hand side of the test point only one pole is there, so root locus will exist here also. So we know that this condition will be prevail from here to here. For each and every test point we will take here to here, the right hand side number of poles or zeros will be equal to odd. Now tell me, if I take the test point here, right hand side, how many number of poles and zeros?
2 poles.
2 is an even number. If the number of accumulated poles are even, no root locus will exist there. So from here to here, wherever you put the test point, you will find only even number of poles. So no root locus will exist between -2 to -4. Whereas if you take a test point over here, obviously you will get 3 poles, and 3 poles means odd number of poles. So naturally this condition prevail from here after -4 to up to infinity. So up to -infinity. So that means entire from -4 to infinity, -infinity, definitely the root locus will going to exist. Okay? Any confusion?
ম্যাম টেস্টিং পয়েন্টটা কি করে নিচ্ছেন এটা বুঝলাম।
তো মানে জাস্ট আমি কি করছি, তো আমার এই সাইডে আমার তো রুট লোকাসগুলোকে টেস্ট করব। আমি লেফট হ্যান্ড সাইডে একটা করে টেস্ট পয়েন্ট নিলাম এখানে দেখার, কারণ আমি জানি ফ্রম ইচ অ্যান্ড এভরি পোল আর রুট লোকাস উইল স্টার্ট। সো I am taking here and I am considering how many poles are there in the right hand side of the test pole. তুমি টেস্ট পোলটা লেফট হ্যান্ড সাইডে যে কোনো জায়গায় রিয়েল অ্যাক্সিসে নিতে পারো, নিয়ে তুমি শুধু দেখো তার ডান দিকটাতে কটা পোল আছে। তো যখন আমি 0 to 2 এর মাঝখানে যে কোনো একটা জায়গায় টেস্ট পয়েন্ট রিয়েল অ্যাক্সিসের ওপর নিলাম, নিয়ে দেখলাম 0 to 2 এর জন্য যে কোনো জায়গাতেই আমি টেস্ট পয়েন্ট নিই না কেন 0 to -2 এর জন্য I will get only one pole in the right hand side. তার মানে I am getting odd number of poles in the right hand side. If I get odd number of poles in the right hand side, that means root locus will exist there. এরপর তাহলে আমি 0 to -2 এর মধ্যে root locusটাকে বলে দিলাম যে the root locus branch will exist here. So here root locus branch will exist. এবার এইখানে -2 থেকে -4 এর মধ্যে যে কোনো জায়গায় আমি একটা টেস্ট পয়েন্ট নিলাম রিয়েল অ্যাক্সিসের ওপর করে দেখলাম যে আমার ডান দিকে কটা টেস্ট পোল আছে সো আই এম গেটিং দ্যাট অনলি 2 test poles are I am getting. So 2 is basically a even number. If even number of test poles appear, I know that there will be no root locus branch exist between that part or whose right hand side we can have even number of test poles. তাহলে up to from -2 to -4 for each and every point I will get 2 test pole, that means even number of test poles. Naturally no root locus will exist between -2 to -4. Same জিনিস আমি রিপিট করলাম at suppose -5 এখানে দেখতে পেলাম আবার 3টে টেস্ট পোল আছে সরি 3টে পোলস আছে তার মানে 3টে মানে হচ্ছে 3 রুট লোকাস 3 পোলস ওপেন লুপ পোলস মানে অড নাম্বার তাহলে অড নাম্বার মানে দ্য রুট লোকাস উইল এক্সিস্ট দেয়ার যে পয়েন্টের ডান দিকে যে পয়েন্ট টেস্ট পয়েন্ট হচ্ছে যে পয়েন্টের ডান দিকে ইন দ্য রাইট হ্যান্ড সাইড দ্য number of poles or zeros, whatever, accumulated number of poles and zeros or zeros, whatever in the system there is, if the number is a odd number, then the root locus will exist. If it is an even number, the root locus will not exist. This is the basically the principle. বোঝাতে পারলাম?
ওকে
ম্যাম জিরো পোলের টেস্ট কেসের ক্ষেত্রে কি হলো ব্যাপারটা?
জিরো পোলের ক্ষেত্রে তুমি এখানে যদি টেস্ট পয়েন্ট নাও তাহলে তো তোমার ডান দিকে কোনো পোল জিরো নেই, সুতরাং তোমার এখানে নেওয়ার কোনো প্রশ্নই নেই। তো এবার জিরো তাহলে তোমাকে প্রথম যে টেস্ট পয়েন্টটা তুমি নিতে পারো সেটা এখানে হতে পারে, মানে 0 থেকে 2 এর মধ্যে যে কোনো কোথাও একটা নিতে পারো। নিলে তার ডান দিকে কটা পোল আছে? একটা পোল মানে ইভেন না অড? অড রুট লোকাস থাকবে। আন্ডারস্টুড?
ওকে
ওকে, সো this we done for k by s into s plus 2 into s plus 4। তার জন্য এইটা আমরা দেখলাম, দ্য থার্ড পয়েন্ট আমরা দেখলাম। যে এবার এটার জন্য দেখি। সো দিস সিস্টেম ইজ like this is my S plane and where the poles are at origin and at S equal to +1, তার মানে the pole will be at origin and S equal to +1. Okay, so if I want to know whether the root locus will exist or not, আমি এখানে শুরু করে কোনো লাভ নেই, বিকজ ইন দ্য রাইট হ্যান্ড সাইড দেয়ার ইজ নো পোলস, সো আই হ্যাভ টু স্টার্ট ইট ফ্রম হিয়ার। সো দ্যাট মিনস আই এম
জিরোটা নিলেন দেন লুপ,
তাহলে কোথায় হবে বলো? এইখানে। তাহলে এইখানে যদি আমি টেস্ট পয়েন্ট নিই, সো তার আমার ডান দিকে কি আছে? এইখানে যদি আমি নিই, if I take the test point over here, so what is going to happen? In the right hand side I am getting only one pole over here. So 1 means it is a odd number, so the test point, that means this test point will be on the root locus. Temni these condition prevail from 1 to 0 for entire test points পুরো এইটার জন্য। এবার if I take the test point over here, suppose the number in the right hand side, the number of accumulation of poles is 2, which is a even number. So I know that there will be no root locus branch on the real axis from 0 to infinity. From this side, in the left hand side, there will be no root locus, but there will be root locus between 1 and 0. Okay, so বোঝাতে পারলাম? বুঝাতে পারলাম তো?
ম্যাম এখানে জিরোর কোনো ব্যাপারটা নেই, মানে এখানে জিরো হচ্ছে -1।
না, জিরো জিরো তুমি বসাতে পার। ও আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, হ্যাঁ, দেয়ার ইজ এ রাইট, আমি তো জিরোটা লিখিনি। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ইয়েস, ভেরি গুড। হ্যাঁ, জিরো আসবে, আমাকে সবকটাই বসাতে হবে, আমি ভুল করেছিলাম। জিরো আসবে। সো এস ইকুয়াল টু -1, তার মানে এখানে -1, ওয়েন দেয়ার ইজ -1 দেয়ার ইজ আ জিরো ওভার হিয়ার, রাইট? এবার যদি এখান থেকে আমি যদি দেখি, দেয়ার উইল বি নো root locus, but if I put my test point over here, now how many accumulation of poles and zeros in the right hand side? 3. That means the root locus branch will exist from -1. Now up to infinity, these condition prevail, so root locus branch will exist over here. Thank you. আমি ভুল করছিলাম, আমি এই জায়গাটা মিস করেছিলাম। So the number of poles and zeros, each and every we have to plot, and we have to consider the condition for considering right hand side, how many accumulation of poles and zeros are present. Okay, বোঝা গেল? এবার বোঝা গেল?
হ্যাঁ ম্যাম, মানে জিরো আর পোল সবকটাকেই প্লট করতে হবে, তাই?
হ্যাঁ, জিরো এর পোল সবকটাকেই প্লট করতে হবে, এবং আমার দেখতে হবে যে আমার ডান দিকে কটা থাকছে, সেটা পোল জিরো মিলে একসাথে। যেমন এইখানে, যেহেতু এইখানে যদি আমি টেস্ট পয়েন্ট নিই, পোল এবং জিরো মিলে তো আমার অড হচ্ছে, অড হওয়া দিয়ে কথা। ইফ ইট ইজ অড, the root locus, if the right hand side number of poles and zeros accumulation is odd, root locus, ওখানে root locus branch exist করবে। বোঝা গেল? So going for the next part. Okay, now the next thing what we need to understand, that is the concept of centroid and angle of asymptotes to draw the root locus. The centroid is having a formula. What is centroid? Centroid is having a formula. So what is the formula? The formula is summation of poles minus summation of zeros divided by P minus Z. P minus Z means number of poles minus number of zeros. Okay, so what will be the centroid for this? If I want to calculate the centroid, what is the applicability of centroid, I will tell you afterwards, but you just remember or understand how to calculate the centroid if a transfer function is given. Okay, so if this is the if this is I am doing for this, so for this, how to calculate the centroid? So sigma A centroid will be finite summation of poles. This means summation of real parts of poles. Finite poles, it should be real part of poles. Real part. Only you have to consider the real part of poles and real parts of zeros. The summation of them. Okay. So here we are having the pole is real pole. Here the poles are real poles, so there will be no complex pole. If the pole is complex conjugate pole, you need to take only the real parts. Okay, so here as all the poles open loop poles are real poles, so the summation of poles will be summation of 0, -2 and -4. That means summation of 0, -2 and -4. Okay, so summation of real parts of poles, so this, and real parts of zeros, so this is the poles and there will be no zeros, so then we will write nothing here for this only, divided by number of poles minus number of zeros. So how many poles are there? 3 poles and 0 zeros. So the value will be 3. So now it will be minus 6 divided by 3. So the position of centroid is minus 2. Understood? So this way we are going to calculate the centroid. Now angle of asymptotes. Angle of asymptotes, how to calculate the angle of asymptotes? Angle of asymptotes means there is a formula, that is 2q plus 180 degree. Here it is written, it is m written, I am writing it q, okay, I am writing it m. So it will be 180 degree p minus z. Okay, so that means where m is 0, 1, p minus z minus 1. So what does it mean? How many angle of asymptotes you can calculate depends upon the number of open loop poles and zeros in your system. So what will be the value of m over here? The value of m will m will start from 0. M will start from 0. But how much m you will write? You will write it depending upon number of poles minus zeros minus 1. That means how many? Here 3 poles are there. So 3 minus 0 minus 1, that means 2. So m will be 0, m will be 1 and m will be 2. So how many number of asymptotic angle you will calculate? You will calculate asymptotic angle 3 asymptotic angles. So for m equal to 0, the first angle theta 1 will be for m equal to 0. So it will be, for this particular problem, it will be 180 degree by p minus z, that means 3. So it will be 60. So first asymptotic angle will be 60. Okay, first asymptotic angle will be 60. Next, the second asymptotic angle will be for m equal to 1. So it will be 2 plus 1, that means 3 into 180 degree divided by 3. So it will be 180 degree. The second asymptotic angle will be 180 degree. Then the third angle will be with the value of 2. So this will be 5. 5 into 180 divided by 3. So it will be 300. Okay, so that means you will get 3 asymptotics angle for these particular open loop transfer function, and these angles will be 60 degree, 180 degree and 300 degree. Any problem?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. So what is the utility of these two, centroid and angle? When you are going to draw the root locus, okay, I am clearing this. 1 minute, let me. The angles you remember, this is the, and the angle is 60, angle is 60, 180 and 300. Okay. So what is the effect of these two? What is the utility of these two? So this is the S-plane. Now you are going to draw the root locus over here. So what are the poles? You know that your poles are at 0, at -2 and at -4. Now you need to draw the root locus. How you will draw the root locus will be on your asymptotic angles. And where to draw the asymptotic angles, that will be given by your centroid. So what we got? We got that our centroid is at, the centroid was at minus 2. So here the centroid will be at minus 2. Though here there is a pole over here, still my centroid position will be minus 2. And at minus 2, what we have to draw? We have to draw with the protector, we will draw 3 poles. One is 60 degree, one is 180 degree, and another one is 300 degree. Okay. So here I will draw one is 60 degree. So 60 degree means I will draw, I'm assuming this as a 60 degree. Okay. So this will be my anti-clockwise 60 degree, then 180 degree, then next is 180 degree. So another thing will be here, so it will be 180 degree, and the third one will be 300 degree. 300 degree means this is our 300 degree. Okay. So what we have to do? At the centroid, we need to draw the asymptotic angles. Understood? So this is for the, so in this way we are going to draw the asymptotic angles. You will understand how to draw the root locus following the asymptotic angle, because your root locus, which is going towards the complex plane, from the real part, when the root locus is going towards the complex plane, it will follow the asymptotic angles. That's why we need to draw the asymptotic angles. Okay. So similarly, if we consider for this one, for this particular, what will be the value of centroid over here? The centroid for the second example, we will get it finite, the real poles, the real value of poles. So this is 0 and this is minus 1. So this is minus 1 this is plus 1. This is plus 1 and this is minus 1. Minus of minus 1. So this means this is also plus 1. Okay, divided by poles, number of poles means 2 minus 1, that means 1. So the centroid will be at plus 2. Here we have to draw the, so if we take this, we have to draw the centroid at plus 2. Suppose this is 1, this is my, the pole is at here, the pole is at here, this is my centroid plus 2 and the 0 is at here. Okay. So if I want to draw the asymptotic angle, so how to calculate the asymptotic angle? Following this formula. The asymptotic angle for the second, this problem, how to get the, how many numbers of m will be there? M will be from 0 to 1 to ... p minus z minus 1. That means how many p? P is 2. How many z? Z means 1. Okay. Minus 1. That means 0. So only 0. So m will be only 0. So that means we will get only one asymptotic angle. So that asymptotic angle theta 1 will be 2 m0. So that means pi by p minus z. That means it will be 180 degree. So here if we draw, we will draw the asymptotic angle as 180 degree. Okay, that means my root locus will finally follow this path. Okay. Next is so centroid and asymptotes. Okay. Next, the very important point is next breakaway and break-in point. So what is breakaway and break-in? The points where two root locus branches meet on the real axis and continue on this axis as k increases as known as break-in point. The points where two real axis root locus branches meet and then leave the real axis are named the breakaway points. Okay, so first consider this one. Take the example, you will going to understand it better. Suppose this is the root locus. What we have learnt? We have learned that the poles are here, here and here. Okay. Now we know the root locus branches exist between these 2 points and another between here to infinity. Now in the first point we learned that root locus always originates from a from a open loop pole. So that means from this root locus will originate, from here root locus will originate. Now if they originate and the root locus branch lie here, so that means the root locus originate from this pole, it will originate in this direction. If I put a direction over here, the root locus which is originate from the from this pole at origin is having this direction, and this particular from the root locus originates from this particular pole will having this direction, because here it cannot get here because there is no root locus branch exist here. So as the root locus branch exists between 0 to -2, that means the root locus must originate for this in the towards the left hand side, and for this particular pole towards the right hand side. Any query? Okay, I guess no. So here also the root locus will originate from this. So how it will originate, how will it will go towards the left hand side, because the root locus branch exists on its left hand side only. That's why it will, the direction of the root locus will like this. So when two root locus branches moves towards each other, what is going to happen? In some point they will collide, and when they will collide, from the real axis they will got separated towards the imaginary axis. The point where they collide and got separated is known as breakaway point. Okay. So the points where two real axis root locus branches meet, then leave the real axis, are named breakaway points. Okay. Similarly, suppose if from two complex poles two root locus branches are coming, and suppose they are meeting at a real axis and going towards two sides, then this point will be known as break-in point. The points where two root locus branches meet on the real axis. Two root locus branches from a complex plane meet on a real axis and continues on the axis as k increases are known as break-in points. So these are breakaway and break-in points, and to get the breakaway and break-in points we have a formula. The formula is dk by ds equal to 0. That means the rate of change of this dc gain with respect to the complex conjugate pole will be equal to 0. To get the breakaway point we need to use this formula. So if I want to get the breakaway point of this particular example, how to get it? We know that GS HS equal to -1. Why? Because 1 plus GS HS equal to 0. So we can write that GS HS will be equal to -1. Okay. So if I write GSH is equal to K upon S into S plus 2 into S plus 4 equal to minus 1, I can get the value of K. So the value of K will be minus S into S plus 2 into S plus 4. Okay. So what will be the result? It will be S into S square plus 6S plus 8, and this will be minus S cube plus minus 6S square minus 8S. So this is K. So if I take dk by ds, so it will be minus 3s square minus 12s minus 8, right? So if I equate it with dk ds equal to 0, so what I am going to get? I am going to get that 3s square plus 12s plus 8 is equal to 0. Now, if I solve this equation, this quadratic equation, the value of s will give me the value of breakaway point. Value of breakaway point. Okay. So, if we solve this, we will get the value of breakaway point. One thing I would like to mention, that if you solve this, you will get two values. One value is, as it is a quadratic equation, you will get two values. One value will be s equal to minus 3.15 and another value will be s equal to 0.85. Now, among these two, the breakaway point will be only one. So which one will be, you have to select as a breakaway point. You can understand that the breakaway point can exist only between 0 to minus 2, because the root locus branch between 0 to minus 2 exists, and naturally to be a breakaway point there must be a collision. So one is coming in the left hand side, another is going towards the right hand side. So the collision must be in between 0 to minus 2. So minus 3.15 cannot be a breakaway point. It cannot be a breakaway point because at minus 3.5 there is no root locus branch exist. As it is a quadratic equation, naturally solving it we will get two values, but logically we can understand the breakaway point can only be this one. Okay, so the value of breakaway point will be somewhat at these particular at these points. Okay, so this will be our breakaway point. Similarly, you can able to find the breakaway point following the same procedure. That means for this particular problem, what you have to do, GSH is equal to minus 1. That means this equal to minus 1. So find the value of K. K will be, you will find a expression. Now take the derivative of K with respect to S. Now and then equate it with 0 and you will find the breakaway or break-in point depending upon this particular transfer function. Okay. So another important part is there, that is called angle of departure and angle of arrival. Now what is angle of departure and angle of arrival? angle of departure or angle of arrival can only be present if there is a complex conjugate pole. If there is no complex conjugate pole or no complex conjugate zero, angle of arrival or angle of departure, or you need not to calculate. Okay, so in the previous examples we have taken so far, these two examples, it doesn't have any complex conjugate pole. All the poles or zeros present in the systems, they are real. Okay, so no need to calculation of angle of departure and arrival in case of root locus for this. Okay, so we will discuss angle of departure and angle of arrival with another sort of example in the next day. Today we are ending this, so just let you make me a summary. So what we have done, we have doing the root locus analysis following Evans condition. Now there are certain generalized rules to construct a root locus. So among them we have done, first what we have to think, first we have to draw root locus by varying the value of k. What is k? K is DC gain. We will vary the value of k from 0 to infinity. And the first what we have to do, first we have to draw the poles and zeros of the root locus on S plane. Then we have to calculate where the root locus branch will exist. Okay, so after that what we have to do, we have to take the angle, the centroid and the angle of asymptotes from that root locus transfer function, from the transfer function. And next what we have to take, if there is a condition, if a breakaway point exists or not, we need to understand. If exists, we have to take the condition of breakaway point. The last part is what we have discussed, that if there is a complex conjugate poles and zeros, then only we need to go for the calculation of angle of departure and arrival, otherwise not. So what examples we have discussed, there were no complex conjugate poles or zeros, that's why it is not required for these problems. So today I am not discussing this part, I will discuss this with another set of examples. Okay, so is there any problem? Do you have any query?